Okay, let's assemble the mason jar luminary paper house cloche. That's a mouthful, but essentially what we're going to do is once you've printed out the PDF file onto cardstock, I like to use, I don't know what the weight is, but this is I get scrapbook paper, and it's got a nice little texture to it. This one's called Swiss Dot by Basil. And they come in different colors. And I end up sometimes just getting this on Amazon. But any cardstock will do. You can even do scrapbook paper, decorative one side and then print on the other. So this is what the template looks like when you print it out. And you're also going to want to cut a strip that's 9 1/4 by 1 1/2, and that's on the instruction sheet. I make a tick mark at about 8 3/4 because we're going to bring this around, and this is going to be part of the pedestal that goes inside of the mason jar. So when you get to cutting this, you're going to cut out this entire template. This is the house. This is the chimney, which of course is optional. This is the pedestal top. Now, if you just want to do the house and just have these clipping at the top and setting, on their own outside of a jar, this is really all you need if you want to add the chimney. So here's what we're trying to end up with, essentially. So this is the little house that's been assembled. And it has this little spring action going on in the roof. So be sure in the end you don't glue this section together. You don't want to glue your house shut, because the reason you want it to open is so you can drop in your little LED light. All right. So it's a very simple project to put together, but there's a couple of tricks that, there's a couple of areas where it gets tricky. So I'm going to show you, especially when it comes to the roof. And this is, I've got a few of these sitting around. So this is a finished one that will go inside of a jar. So the jar will go like this. And you'll screw the ring on at the bottom. Of course, you'd have your light lit up, and that's what it looks like. So that's what the little pedestal strip is. It's going to go here. This piece, once it gets curved around, becomes the pedestal. Okay, so when you're cutting out your template, it's important. Precision is everything on this. So take your time, go slow. And any solid line is what you want to cut. Any of the dashed lines, you're going to come back and score those. So notice how the cut lines actually go down deep into the roof line here. So if it goes past, be sure you cut wherever it's solid and in here. We'll come back and use an X-Acto knife on the windows. You can cut this whole thing out with an X-Acto if that's easier. And it's better to stay in the very middle of that heavy, thick line when you're cutting versus to the outside or to the inside. Again, you want everything to come together to where once it folds, it's all meeting up just perfectly. Okay, so cut that out, and what you're going to end up with is these 3 items. Actually, I'm going to say 4 because you're going to have a strip, right? So that's what that's going to look like once you've got everything cut out. And then we're going to come back with a stylus. I'm using, a cutting mat, so it's got a slight bit of give to it. But if you don't have a cutting mat for cutting or scoring, magazines work good. A chunk of newspaper will work good too. And I use this scoring stylus. I like the very tiny tip. You can find these where there's, I think you can look for them in the clay department. They're also, they make kind of the same tool for different things. So this is for scoring and folding paper, but I have seen styluses for sale where you find the clay stuff at the craft store. If you don't have something like this, you can use a butter knife. The soft, not the perforated edge of it. You could use a crochet needle if it's a really tiny tip. Something rounded, metal, hard. What's another thing? Knitting needle. You could use a knitting needle. So what we're trying to do is we're going to press these lines, pre-press them so that these will fold nice and crisp. If I tried to fold this line right now, I probably wouldn't do a very good job, and it would just wouldn't have a very nice appearance, and it would not be nice and crisp like this. So I've got a couple that I've already scored. And essentially when you're scoring, you're going to take a ruler. I have a ruler like this. I turn mine over. I take the tiny end of my stylus, and I'm going to just offset it a bit from the dashed line, because when I go down with my stylus, I want to be sure my stylus goes right down the middle of that dashed line, and I'm just going to press nice and hard and make a groove. So you'll see kind of how these have the grooves in them now, and it'll make it for really easy folding. So before you fold it, we're going to cut the windows out, and I use an X-Acto knife. If you're not familiar with using an X-Acto knife, be super careful. The most important thing is that this is very sharp. You need this to stay sharp. So if you're having trouble cutting, you need a new blade. You know how a sharp knife is a safer knife. So the way I cut, it's just like I'm writing a letter. I put my hand down in the same way I would write a letter, but I'm only going to be dragging towards me. And I could leave my hand here the entire time, never move my hand at all, just moving my fingers and then moving the template around. So how I do it is, looks like I've already done these. I'm going to go and do all my verticals. And when I'm cutting, I'm going to cut just past that square, so that when I come back the other way, I crisscross across that first cut, and then these want to just kind of pop out. And I'm going to just keep moving this down, and I'm going to do all my verticals. See how my hand is really pretty much staying in the same place? I'm just moving my fingers and the paper and going just barely past right here and here, past that horizontal line. I'm not going to do the rest, but then when I'm done, I'll just turn it and I'll come back and I'll do the same thing, keeping my hand in the same place and cross over those lines. And the nice part about crossing over the lines, then when these little windows will just pop right out like that, and they don't get caught up in the corners. Well, that one kind of got caught up, but you get the idea. Okay, so you're going to cut those out. I'm not going to cut all of these out to show you how to fold the house, though. And then when you're ready to fold it, we're going to fold the walls in. So all these dashed lines will be to the inside of the house. You will not see any dashed lines on the outside of the house. And once the house is folded up, you can't see the dashed lines at all. So to fold it, I'm going to bring all my walls around and that little flap in. Right? I'm going to bring my floor pieces up. See how nicely everything folds once you have it scored? Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. You want to bend backwards. Oops, looks like I missed a score there. Let me see the difference if you don't score it. What happened? It's kind of ugly. So that goes back. So that's going to be the eaves of the house. And then it folds up this way. Okay, and we're going to put glue right in here. Don't put it back here, because what we want is this to happen. We don't want to put glue under here. The glue goes right there, so that's this area. And the glue that I like to use is, I like the beacon glue, so like the 3-in-1. Fabric Tack works really good. We worked this weekend with some zip dry, which did not work so great. So either one of these. A little trick is if you have some Vaseline, you can just rub it on the tip of your bottle. This one's probably goopy. See how that gets kind of gunky? But if I clean that off and I put a little Vaseline around the edge of it, as I'm going about using my glue, it won't build up on the outside. So I'm going to glue here and here, and I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to set it and just kind of hold it like this. If you end up assembling your house, getting it around and you haven't glued it yet, you can still glue, and then, you can end up holding your house like this. So you can either glue the eaves before you bring the house together or after. Sometimes it's easier to do it before, but for this demonstration, let's pretend those are glued, or maybe they're not. The bottoms come up, and you're just going to kind of curl these in on each other, like that. Bring this around. All right, it's going to fit in. Well, let's try it this way. So, a lot of ways you can do it. Let's do the big one over a little one. Come around. Another little one tucks in. Essentially, there's a lot of ways you can do that, just so that everything gets tucked in. And then this last little flap here gets tucked under. See that? And then we're going to put glue on that little flap and just hold it. And the nice thing about the adhesive I mentioned is it's pretty quick tack. So make sure your corners are really lined up and then hold it till it's dry. So I'm going to do that one more time. All the floors come up, no matter how you get them in there. Like you can do it this way and tuck that in, like you're closing a box. And then that little flap goes in, and you're going to glue that. Then you can add your glue, if you didn't already do it there, and hold these tight. And that's essentially it. You can also kind of open that up and add a little glue in there. You can reach down into the bottom, and you can lift up the little flaps and add some glue underneath there if you like. It doesn't hurt to tack it. At the very least, you can, this little piece right here, a little glue there, stick it in, put your finger inside, and just kind of hold it till it's secure. And then your house should be just like that. Okay. I want to mention too, as you start decoupaging little bits of paper, and if you decide to paint, use a really thin coat, because the moisture will start to make the house a little bit wonky, because it's going to want to pull and tug. And you might notice that happening as you're decorating this. I wouldn't distress. Wait till you're all completely decorated and then kind of finesse it and push it and press it into shape. So if you feel like this is happening, your house looks like this by the time you're done, wait till you're all done and then just kind of manipulate it back into shape. And that usually holds really nice. So so this piece, when you score, you don't need a ruler. Just go along and score by hand these lines like this, so that you can then fold up the pieces like that. Here's a great one. Okay, and then you're going to glue this strip, which is the pedestal, on itself like that. If you don't have a tick mark or you didn't measure it, just kind of work it till you see, till it fits just right inside along that dashed line like that. And then so this, pretend this is sealed up. I'm just going to grab a piece of tape. Don't tape it. I'm just doing that for the demo. So let's say it's like that. Then I would come back with my glue, and I would just kind of glue along these little petals here, and then hold them individually, and hold and hold and hold, and just kind of glue them individually. And what's going to happen is you'll end up with, it'll look like this. If you prefer not to have the scallops, you can make your band a little bit bigger and to where the scallops are on the inside, right? And glue them to the inside, and then you'd be more like that. Which looks like this one was like that. This one had the scallops to the inside. And then this one has the scallops to the outside. And then from there you just decorate. I would wait to attach your house to the pedestal. The way I like to do it is I decorate the house, and then I attach it to the pedestal, and then I do the landscaping around it. But this is a really important thing about the landscaping. So as you're looking down upon these, directly down, you don't want anything really hanging over the width of this pedestal, because the jar still has to fit over it, right? And you're going to notice that the roof line might catch a little bit and want to open as you're going up and down on the roof line. That's okay. But you're going to go over it. But if you were to, sometimes if you have something like moss it wants to catch, or your flowers, or things want to catch on it, you're just going to have to finesse it or clip it or decorate it a little bit differently. Here's one that has a flag on it. So the flag had to be at an angle that wouldn't catch on the jar, because you want to be able to open this jar, take the jar lid off and on in order to work the light fixture. So, company's coming and I want to reach in and turn on the light, turn it on, close this back up. There's a cute little nest just made out of like some hemp string and some beads, a little bit of moss. There's the chimney. You know, I forgot to talk to you about the chimney. So when you assemble the chimney, let's see if I have one that's already folded. Oh, here it is. Let's do the chimney real quick. We're just going to fold all the sides in like this. A little bit of glue on that tab and close it up like that. Give the little tiny tabs a bend in. So this is what we're going to end up with. Now notice this little square on the back. That square should fit perfectly anywhere along this tab. So just like that. You'll glue it on. If I can turn that, you can see it. So you're going to stick it on like that, put a little glue on this tab, that'll stick to the roof itself. So you can bring it forward, you can bring it back. Oh, let me grab another little house. I think I'll show you. We put this one, I added some mica to make it look like snow. And you know, you can cut your other papers out of different colored paper if you like. I think I painted that particular paper, but you could have simply cut it out of white paper. And here I put some just cotton in the chimney. I might have used a little bit of glue, maybe just to stiffen it a bit, so that when it's in the jar it looks like, and the light's turned on, it looks cute, like, I don't know, smoke coming out of the chimney. When you get ready to glue your pedestal onto the inside of the jar lid, this is a wide mouth jar, and you're going to glue this on there. This is a very slick surface, so I would take a little bit of sandpaper and just kind of scuff the area. It's going to fit right at the raised part. So give this a little bit of a scratch and a scuff so that the glue can really adhere to it. And again, use this kind of glue to glue this. This would have its little top on it. And so that'll be nice and secure. It would have its little lid. And then the house. What else? I think that's about it. All right, well, happy crafting. Oh, one more thing. I do have one more thing for you. So when we were decoupaging, I just used Mod Podge. I used the matte Mod Podge and just use really thin coats. You can come back with paint. If you're going to rubber stamp, it might make more sense to rubber stamp before you assemble it, but if you want to afterwards, you're going to want to put your hand in to press up against the rubber stamp so it doesn't push your house in when you're stamping. This was a little wire nest. Let's see what else I have. These little trees are made out of bump chenille, so it's like a big fat pipe cleaner that goes fat, skinny. And I found yards and yards of this at an old craft store. So if you cut the bump chenille into little pieces, they end up in shapes of trees. But you can get the little bottle brush trees. You'll end up having to cut them flush along the back so that they get right up against the house, so you have more clearance for your jar. This is another one with little pom-poms and a piece of bamboo skewer. And if you cut into the bamboo and just kind of spread it apart, it makes branches. And I would put the bamboo skewer up against the house and then add your pom-poms if that's what you're going to do for a tree. Because you got to have clearance, right? Let's see. If you find that it's clipping too much on the house, you can always trim these corners a little bit round. You can also bend them in a little bit. Let's see if you can see how that's bent in. You can bend them in a little bit. All right, well, have fun crafting, and be sure you get a hold of me and share pictures if you make one. Okay,